Gwen Schoen, and in our new home and garden section at the Sacramento Bee, we're going to be featuring an occasional craft project. Today we're going to show you how to make a French memo board, which is a fun little organizing project because it's inexpensive, it's very easy to do, and it's really handy because you can stash little things that you need to take care of, like letters you need to mail, photographs that you're going to send on. It's a fun project because you can change the colors and the decorating to match the way that your kitchen or your office is decorated. So you can do that by changing the fabric or the ribbons or the buttons on the mat. You can use any size board that you want, but what works best is a 16 by 20 stretched canvas. This is the type of canvas that you would buy for an oil painting project. They're very inexpensive and you can find them at most craft stores. So we're starting with a 16 by 20. Then we're going to pad the board with quilt batting and cut the quilt batting about 2 inches larger than your stretched canvas. And then fold the edge of the batting over the back of the board. And I like to use a staple gun, but you could use thumbtacks. I just think a staple gun goes a little faster and it's a little easier. Just staple the batting over the edge of the board. Now that you've got it all stapled around the edge of the board, trim off a little bit of this excess batting on the corners. The next step is to attach the fabric to the stretcher board. So cut the fabric out about 4 inches wider than your mat on all sides. Place the fabric down wrong side up, and then fold the edges over the side of your stretcher bars and staple gun those in place the same way that you did the batting. When you do the corners, you want to cut down a little bit on the bulk, and you can do that by mitering the corners. Take the corner, fold it down flat, then take the sides and fold those up so that you've made a nice little square connection, and staple gun those in place. The next step is to add the ribbon across the front of the memo board, and you can either use ribbon or jumbo rickrack. Either one works just as well, and if you're using this size board, which is 16 by 20, you'll need about 6 yards of ribbon. Measure the ribbon across the top, allowing enough to wrap around to the back side, and you'll probably want to put your first stripe across the corner on that side, another one across the corner on this side. Decide where you want to put your first ribbon, hold it in place, flip the board over, and then staple gun the ribbon in place. You want to pull it fairly tight. Then we're going to repeat the same step for the rest of the ribbon. And we'll add 4 pieces of ribbon this way and then 4 pieces of ribbon that way. When you add the ribbon going the opposite direction, weave it over and under the pieces that have already been attached to the board. And the last step is to stitch together the ribbons where they intersect. And you just need to take a couple of little quick stitches in there with regular sewing thread. And if you want to, you can add a little button to decorate the intersection. And because my ribbons look like little streets, I found some little buttons that look like little cars. So I'm just going to stitch one on each place where the ribbons cross. Once you've got all the buttons attached, you're ready to hang your memo board, and then you can use it to hold family photographs and stamps and letters that you need to mail.